guys, it's Emily, and today I'm here to bring you a recent reads video. I got 3 books to talk about, so let's just get right into it. The first book that I want to mention is Dear Mrs. Bird by A.J. Pearce. This was a book that I had seen all over BookTube and Instagram, and it sounded like exactly my kind of book. It's about a young girl named Emmy, and she gets a job as a secretary slash typist to an advice columnist named Henrietta Bird. And Henrietta Bird is an older lady. She had been at the magazine for a long time, and this is set in World War II in London, and Mrs. Bird had actually retired and had been asked back because the previous advice columnist went off to serve in the war. So anyway, Emmy is set to sorting her letters, and Mrs. Bird has very strict rules on what kind of letters she answers, and she throws a lot of the letters away. And Emmy begins answering these letters, and she also, in addition to this, she's having some problems in her personal life and some problems with her friends. And so it's just about Emmy's life and, World War II during the Blitz in London and all those kinds of things. And this was a good book. It was my favorite book of the month of June, but I was a little disappointed with this. I went out and bought this paperback copy of it at full price because I thought this was going to be like an all-time new favorite, but it wasn't. It was good, but I was expecting it to be more about her work and this aspect of writing the letters, and I felt like it was sort of like a 50-50 book, where it was 50% about her work and then 50% about her life and the drama and the war and things like that, which is interesting, but it wasn't what I was expecting, because nobody ever really talks about the fact that it's also focused a lot on her friendships and her romantic life. Like, the blurb and everything about it says she writes letters back to these people that her boss won't answer, and it's like, yeah, but that's not everything that's going into this. So this was good. It's a very standard historical fiction novel. I was just expecting more focus on her work. Like, for example, there's this other typist that she works with named Catherine, and you see them being introduced and they meet, and then the next chapter is like a few months later, and she's like, Catherine and I are now really good friends. But you never see the friendship progress, and I would have preferred to see more of Catherine and Emmy's friendship versus Emmy's friendship with her childhood best friend, Bunny. And then there's also some drama in this book, which I felt like was blown way out of proportion. So, I don't know, it was okay, but it didn't blow me away like I was expecting it to. But yeah, this was a fairly, standard, good historical fiction, and I would recommend it. It's very entertaining, and I read this in like 2 or 3 days, so it is a quick read. What was not a quick read was this chunker of a book, The 6 Wives of Henry VIII by Alison, Weir. This is exactly what it says on the tin, a group biography of all 6 of Henry's wives. Catherine of Aragon gets her own section, and then Anne Boleyn and Jane Seymour share a section, and then the last 3 wives are all lumped together in one section because he wasn't married to any of them for very long. So going into this, I didn't know very much. I knew he had been married to Catherine of Aragon, and they had Mary, and then I knew he had divorced Catherine of Aragon to marry Anne Boleyn, and then they had Elizabeth, and then he had Anne Boleyn's head chopped off. That's what I knew. I didn't know anything about his latter 3 wives at all, and I don't think I even knew much about Jane Seymour. This is a 673-page book. It's a chunker. It's got a lot of detail in it. It goes into like what they ate, what they wore, the minutiae of political maneuverings, battles that Henry VIII fought, the biography of each of his wives, their early life, how he met each one of them, etc., etc., etc. This is, a very good, very thorough book, and yeah, I would recommend it if you're interested to learn more about Henry VIII or any of his wives. I do feel like I learned a lot. In case you were wondering, my favorite wife is Anne of Cleves because he wanted an annulment, and she agreed, and then he gave her a house and a pension for the rest of her life, as long as she lived in England. So, yeah, Anne of Queens did real good. She didn't get her head cut off, and she got to live like 30 more years. So, yeah, go Anne. You did a lot better than the other Anne. So, anywho, yeah, this was a good book. Very long, very dense, but very readable. I would recommend it if you're interested in this subject. Then I finished a book on the first day of July. I finished Record of a Spaceborn Few by Becky Chambers. This is the third in her Wayfarers series, which takes place mostly in space and then also in various planets around the solar system, our solar system, and then, way out in the middle of other solar systems. This takes place, hundreds of years in the future. In the first two books, it talks about how Earth became totally devastated by war and drought and famine and all that. And so the humans that were living in that time built themselves some spaceships out of old buildings, old skyscrapers, and they went into space, and now we're like generations and generations later, and we're established in this space society. So in this world, some of the humans still live on the spaceships that brought them from Earth, or brought their ancestors from Earth, but a lot of humans have gone into other planets and started marrying aliens, and so there's these two separate sections of humans. So anyway, this book is following 4 different perspectives. They're all humans' perspectives, but they all live in different areas. The 4 narrators are Isabel, Kip, Sawyer, and Tessa, and Isabel is an archivist on one of the spaceships that is still in the Earth. Tessa's a mechanic on one of the spaceships. Sawyer is a human that was raised on a planet, but he's come back to the spaceship because he wants to see what it was like living there. And then Kip is a high schooler, or he's getting ready to graduate their version of high school on the spaceship, and he's struggling about what he wants to do with his life. So all of these characters have different issues and problems, and we see their family lives. We also get the perspective of an alien. She has an unpronounceable name, but I'm going to call her G because that's what her name starts with. G is visiting the spaceship as well to do ethnographical study on the humans that live in this spaceship. We also hear more about the humans that still live on Earth that are really struggling. They've sort of become very conservative and very religious, and they kill babies that aren't in good health, and they do other what they call barbaric practices. So it's just about their lives. All of these lives are interconnected in some way. 2 of the people meet, and then another 2 of the people meet, and so we see how their meetings play out through the rest of the book. So yeah, this is a really good book. It's the 3rd in the series, but it's not a direct sequel. It just follows other people in the same world, although one of the characters, Tessa, is a sister to Ashby, and Ashby is a character we met in an earlier book. So yeah, I really enjoyed this. I would recommend this. It's a really quick read. I read it over the course of one weekend, and I finished it on July 1st before I went to work. So yeah, it's a really good book. Highly recommend it. And yeah, so that's all I've been reading lately. I haven't started another book because I've just finished this one, but I have 7 other books I'd like to read in July. I thought about making a TBR, and then I decided it was too much trouble, so I'll just show you the books as I read them. I hope everybody's having a great day, and you're reading some great books, and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye!